The flash of the photographer's camera was blinding, like a lightning strike in a room full of mirrors. We were in the grand ballroom of the St. Regis, celebrating my brother Caleb's engagement to Monica, a woman whose laugh sounded like breaking glass and whose father happened to be a senator. "Okay, perfect," the photographer shouted, waving his hand. "Now, let's get the immediate family. Parents, groom, and, yes, everyone squeeze in." I stepped forward. It was a reflex. I was Caleb's brother. I was wearing the suit my mother had told me to buy, a navy blue number that I had tailored specifically for tonight so I wouldn't embarrass them. I moved to stand next to my father, offering a small, tentative smile. My mother's hand shot out. It wasn't a gentle touch. It was a stiff arm, a barrier, her manicured nails digging into my chest. "Leo," she said. Her voice was low, masked by the ambient jazz music, but to me, it sounded like a gunshot. "Not you." I froze. "What?" "This is for family," she hissed, keeping her smile plastered on her face for the guests watching. "Immediate family. Just step aside, sweetie. Go grab a drink. You're ruining the symmetry." "I am your son, Mom," I whispered, feeling the heat rise in my cheeks. "You're my stepson," she corrected me, her eyes flashing with a cold, 20-year-old resentment. "And frankly, tonight isn't about you. It's about Caleb. It's about the future. Just, go stand by the bar. Don't make a scene." She pushed me. A physical shove. Caleb saw it. He didn't defend me. He just adjusted his tie and smirked. "Yeah, Leo. Go get a soda. Let the adults handle the press." I stepped back. The photographer snapped the picture. Click. The perfect family. My father, weak and silent. My stepmother, the gatekeeper. And Caleb, the golden boy. I was erased from the frame, just as I had been erased from their lives since I was 7 years old. I walked to the bar, my hands shaking. I ordered a whiskey, neat. The bartender looked at me with sympathy. He had seen the shove. "Rough night?" he asked. "Just a reminder of my place," I muttered, taking a sip. The burn of the alcohol helped ground me. To understand why I didn't storm out, you have to understand the stakes. I wasn't here for the cake. I wasn't here for the free booze. I was here because Caleb had been begging me to come for weeks. Not because he wanted me there, but because he needed a full house to impress his new bosses. Caleb had just landed a junior executive role at Apex Dynamics, a massive tech conglomerate. He wouldn't shut up about it. For the last 2 hours, he had been holding court in the center of the room, bragging about a big merger coming up. "My CEO is coming tonight," I heard Caleb shouting to a group of Monica's friends. "Mr. Sterling. He's a legend. Once I seal this deal with him, I'm looking at a VP spot by 30. We're talking 7 figures, boys." Monica giggled, hanging on his arm. "Caleb is basically Mr. Sterling's right-hand man already. They have such a connection." I swirled my drink. A connection. Right. Caleb didn't know that Apex Dynamics was a subsidiary. He didn't know that Mr. Sterling was just the public face of the company, the hired gun to handle operations. He didn't know that the holding company, the Orion Group, was a private equity firm that specialized in hostile takeovers and aggressive restructuring. And he certainly didn't know who owned the Orion Group. He didn't know that the loser stepbrother, who dropped out of college to play on computers, had actually developed a proprietary trading algorithm that revolutionized high-frequency trading. He didn't know that while he was partying in frat houses on my father's dime, I was building an empire from a basement apartment. To them, I was Leo the freelancer. Leo the disappointment. Leo, who isn't really family. My stepmother floated over to me, smelling of Chanel No. 5 and judgment. She took the glass from my hand and set it on the bar with a sharp clink. "Slow down," she scolded. "Mr. Sterling will be here any minute. I don't need you looking tipsy. Actually, maybe you should just stay in the back." Near the kitchen entrance? You want me to hide? I asked, looking her in the eye. I want Caleb to shine, she said, smoothing my lapel with fake affection. And let's be honest, Leo. You don't exactly scream success. Your suit is simple. Your hair is messy. You look like you fix computers for a living. I do fix things, I said. Expensive things. Don't be cryptic, it's annoying, she sighed. Just stay out of the way. If Mr. Sterling talks to you, just nod. Don't tell him about your, whatever it is you do. Don't embarrass Caleb. I promise, I said, a small, dark smile touching my lips. I won't say a word about what I do. Good. She patted my cheek, a gesture that felt more like a slap. Oh, look. The limo is pulling up. The room went silent. The double doors at the entrance of the ballroom swung open. The air shifted. It was the arrival of true power. Caleb straightened his jacket, sweat beading on his forehead. Okay, everyone, look sharp. This is him. Mr. Sterling walked in. He was an older man, silver-haired, impeccable in a tuxedo. He carried an aura of authority that made Caleb look like a child playing dress-up. He was followed by two assistants carrying tablets. Caleb rushed forward, his hand extended, desperate. Mr. Sterling. Sir. So glad you could make it. Welcome to my engagement party. Sterling shook his hand briefly, professionally, but his eyes were scanning the room. He wasn't looking at the decor. He wasn't looking at the bride. He was looking for someone. Thank you, Caleb, Sterling said, his voice booming slightly. Nice venue. But I'm not just here for the champagne. We have that urgent matter regarding the acquisition papers. The board needs the final signature tonight. Of course, sir. Caleb beamed, puffing out his chest. I'm ready to sign whatever you need. I'm ready to lead this team. Not you, son, Sterling said, dismissing him with a glance. He kept scanning the room. I need the chairman's signature. He said he would be here. The chairman? Caleb looked confused. But, you're the CEO. You run the company. I run the operations, Caleb, Sterling said, looking bored. I answer to the owner. The founder of Orion Group. My stepmother stepped in, smiling her brightest, most predatory smile. Oh, Mr. Sterling. I'm sure there's a misunderstanding. We are the hosts. Surely we are the ones you need to speak to. Sterling ignored her. His eyes stopped moving. He locked onto a spot in the back of the room. Near the kitchen entrance. Near the bar. He saw me. The room held its breath. Why was the billionaire CEO staring at the Minot family's stepson? Sterling pushed past Caleb. He pushed past my stepmother. He walked straight across the dance floor, ignoring the waiters, ignoring the senator, ignoring the bride. He walked right up to me. I took a sip of my whiskey and set the glass down. Sterling stopped 2 feet in front of me. He bowed his head. A gesture of total deference. Good evening, sir, Sterling said, loud enough for the microphone on the stage to pick up. I apologize for the interruption on a family night. But the Tokyo markets are opening, and we need your authorization. He held out a gold pen. Waiting on you, boss. For 10 seconds, the only sound in the St. Regis ballroom was the hum of the air conditioning and the distant clatter of a fork dropping onto a plate. Boss? Caleb repeated the word as if it were a foreign language he couldn't quite translate. He laughed, a nervous, high-pitched sound that cracked in the silence. Mr. Sterling, you have a great sense of humor. Seriously. That's a good one. Leo? The boss. Caleb walked over and tried to put a hand on Sterling's shoulder, a gesture of familiarity that was instantly rebuffed. Sterling took a sharp step back, his eyes narrowing. Do not touch me, Mr. Vance, Sterling said, his voice dropping to a frosty temperature. And I am not known for my humor. But... Caleb gestured wildly at me. It's Leo. He's my stepbrother. Look at him. He fixes laptops. He lives in a basement. You can't possibly mean he's your boss. I live in a basement, I corrected him calmly, taking the gold pen from Sterling's hand. Because the server cooling system for my private data center requires subground temperatures. It's not an apartment, Caleb. It's a fortress. I uncapped the pen. The click echoed loudly. Mr. Sterling, I said, ignoring my brother. Is this the merger agreement with Valkyrie Systems? Yes, sir, Sterling nodded, holding out the tablet for me to use as a surface. The board is waiting for the timestamp. I signed the document. Leo J. Vance. The signature was sweeping, confident. Done, I said, handing the pen back. Tell Tokyo to proceed with the acquisition. And freeze the assets of the Valkyrie CEO until the audit is complete. Understood, sir. Sterling tapped his earpiece and whispered a command. My stepmother, who had been frozen with her mouth slightly open, suddenly snapped back to life. Her survival instinct kicked in. She rushed forward, pushing Caleb aside, her face rearranging itself into a mask of adoration. Leo, she gasped, reaching for my arm. Oh my goodness. You own the company? Why didn't you say anything? We had no idea. We are so proud of you. She looked at the crowd, beaming. Everyone. Did you hear? My son, well, our Leo, is the owner of Orion Group. Can you believe it? Talent runs in the family. I looked at her hand on my arm. The same hand that had shoved me 5 minutes ago. Please remove your hand, I said. My voice wasn't loud, but it was absolute. She flinched as if burned. Leo, sweetie, don't be like that. We're family. This is a celebration. Family? I asked, raising an eyebrow. 5 minutes ago, I was ruining the symmetry. 5 minutes ago, I was told to stand by the kitchen entrance so I wouldn't embarrass the real family. I turned to the photographer, who was still standing there, camera lowered, looking confused. Hey, camera guy, I called out. Yes, sir, the photographer stammered. Did you delete that first photo? The one where I was pushed out of the frame? No, sir. It's on the memory card. Good, I said. Keep it. I want it framed. I'm going to hang it in the corporate lobby. Title it, The Reason I Work Harder. My father finally spoke. He stepped out from behind my stepmother, looking pale and small. Leo, son. Is this true? You own Caleb's company? I own the parent company, Dad, I explained. Which means I own Caleb's company. And the bank that holds the mortgage on your house. And, coincidentally, the hospitality group that manages this hotel. I looked around the ballroom. The guests were whispering furiously. The senator, Monica's father, was looking at me with newfound interest, sipping his drink. Now, I said, turning my attention to Caleb. He looked like he was going to vomit. His face was gray. Let's talk about why Mr. Sterling is really here. He's here for the merger. Caleb shouted, trying to regain control. He said so. And to celebrate my engagement. I'm the junior executive. I'm the rising star. You're a liability, Caleb, Sterling interrupted, his voice cutting through the room. Caleb froze. What? I didn't come here just for the signature, Sterling said, glancing at me for permission. I nodded. I came here because the chairman, Leo, flagged a series of irregularities in your quarterly reports. Irregularities? Caleb laughed nervously. That's just accounting noise. I can explain all of that on Monday. You won't be here on Monday, I said. I took the tablet from Sterling and swiped the screen. A graph appeared. I held it up for Caleb to see. This is your department's spending, I said. And this is the actual output. There's a discrepancy of $200,000 over 6 months. Client entertainment, consulting fees, travel expenses. I looked at Monica, his fiancée. She was staring at the floor. Funny thing, I continued. Most of those travel expenses coincide with weekends in Cabo and Paris. Dates on the receipts match the dates on Monica's Instagram posts. The room gasped. The senator put his drink down hard. You stalked me? Caleb stammered. I audited you, I corrected. I audit all my employees. Especially the ones who claim to be rising stars but are actually just burning company cash to fund a lifestyle they can't afford. It was an advance. Caleb screamed, sweat pouring down his face. I was going to pay it back with my bonus. The bonus I was promised. You don't get a bonus for stealing, Caleb, I said. Leo, please, my stepmother intervened, her voice trembling. Don't do this here. Not in front of the senator. Not in front of Monica. We can discuss this at home. We're family. You wouldn't destroy your brother's life over a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? I laughed. Mom, do you remember my 16th birthday? She blinked. What? My 16th birthday, I repeated. You accused me of stealing $20 from your purse. You called the police. You had them search my room while the neighbors watched. You told the officers, once a thief, always a thief. Remember that? She went pale. I was trying to teach you a lesson. And you did, I nodded. You taught me that reputation is everything. And you taught me to keep receipts. I turned back to Caleb. So, here is the situation, I said. You embezzled company funds. That is cause for immediate termination and legal action. Mr. Sterling has the paperwork ready. Sterling pulled a document from his jacket. It wasn't a merger agreement. It was a termination notice. However, I added, pausing for effect. I am a benevolent boss. I am willing to offer you a deal. Because, as you keep reminding me, we are a family at all. Caleb looked up, hope flickering in his eyes. A deal? Yes. Anything, Leo. I'll pay it back. Just don't fire me. Don't ruin this night. I won't fire you, I said. Yet. I pointed to the bar. The bartender is short-staffed tonight, I said. And we have a lot of thirsty guests. If you want to keep your job and stay out of jail for fraud, you will take off that jacket, put on an apron, and you will serve drinks for the rest of the night. Every tip you make goes toward repaying the debt. You want me to be a waiter? Caleb whispered, horrified. At my own engagement party? No, I said coldly. I want you to be useful. For the first time in your life. I looked at Monica. And Monica? I asked. She looked up, terrified. The engagement ring, I said. Caleb put it on the company credit card. It's technically company property. Unless he pays for it tonight. I'm going to need it back. The silence in the ballroom was so thick you could choke on it. All eyes were on Caleb. He stood there, trembling, looking from me to his fiancée, then to his mother, and finally to the exit. He realized there was no exit. Not if he wanted to stay out of a federal prison cell. Caleb's voice cracked. I can't do this. Leo, please. I'm the groom. You were the groom, a deep voice interrupted. It was Senator Davis, Monica's father. He stepped forward, his face flushed with the kind of controlled rage that ends careers. He didn't look at Caleb. He looked at his daughter. Monica, the senator said, his voice flat. Give Mr. Vance the ring. Daddy? Monica squeaked, clutching her hand. But, the wedding is in June. There will be no wedding, the senator stated, adjusting his cufflinks. We are a respectable family. We do not marry into embezzlement. And we certainly do not marry waiters who steal from their own brothers to buy jewelry. He pointed to my hand. Give the ring to the rightful owner. Now. Monica looked at Caleb. For a second, I thought she might fight for him. I thought maybe true love would conquer the audit. But Monica was a survivor, much like my stepmother. She saw the sinking ship, and she wasn't going to drown. She pulled the ring off her finger. It was tight. She had to twist it. Left, right, left. Finally, it popped off. She didn't hand it to Caleb. She walked over and dropped it into my outstretched palm. It felt heavy. Cold. I didn't know, Monica whispered to me, tears welling up in her eyes. I swear, Leo. I didn't know he was a thief. I believe you, I said, pocketing the ring. But you knew he was a bully. And that didn't bother you. She flinched, then turned and ran out of the ballroom, her heels clacking on the marble. The senator gave me a curt nod, a recognition of power, not friendship, and followed her. Caleb watched them go. His future, his connections, his political aspirations, all walking out the door. The apron, Caleb, Sterling said, holding out the black cloth bundle. The bar is getting backed up. Caleb looked at me with pure hatred. But the fear was stronger. Slowly, painfully, he took off his bespoke tuxedo jacket. He folded it clumsily and placed it on a chair. He untied his silk tie. Then, he took the apron. He tied it around his waist. It looked ridiculous over his dress shirt. The golden boy was gone. The servant remained. Get behind the bar, I ordered. Caleb walked behind the bar, head down, avoiding the gaze of his friends, his fraternity brothers, the people he had bragged to for years. What can I get you, sir? Caleb whispered, gripping the counter until his knuckles turned white. I thought about it. I could order champagne. I could order the most expensive scotch on the shelf. A Diet Coke, I said. With plenty of ice. Caleb made the drink. His hands were shaking so bad the ice rattled against the glass. He slid it across the coaster. Thanks, I said, taking a sip. Keep the change. I dropped a single-dollar bill into the tip jar. My stepmother was standing by the stage, weeping silently. My father was sitting on a chair, head in his hands. They didn't try to stop me as I turned to leave. They knew the dynamic had shifted permanently. They were no longer the gatekeepers. They were tenants in a world I now owned. Mr. Sterling, I said, handing my empty glass to a passing waiter. Let's go. We have work to do. Yes, boss. We walked out of the St. Regis, leaving the party in ruins, but finally, perfectly symmetrical. Epilogue, 6 months later. The real estate listing popped up on my laptop screen. For sale, luxury suburban estate. 5 bedrooms. Pool. Motivated sellers. It was my childhood home. The house where I had slept in the basement. The house where I was told I wasn't good enough. My father and stepmother were downsizing. Without Caleb's income, and with the monthly allowance cut off from the company payroll, they couldn't afford the mortgage. Especially not after my bank, adjusted the interest rates to the standard market value instead of the friends and family rate they had enjoyed for years. I clicked buy now. Cash offer. I wasn't going to live there. I was going to bulldoze it. The land was perfect for a community park. A place where kids could play without being told they were ruining the aesthetic. My phone buzzed. It was a notification from Orion Group HR. Employee review, Caleb Vance. Position, Junior Data Entry Clerk, probationary. Performance, adequate. I had kept my word. I didn't fire Caleb. I demoted him. He was currently working in the basement of the corporate headquarters, ironic, I know, doing manual data entry for minimum wage. He was paying off the ring, dollar by dollar. It would take him about 15 years. I closed the laptop and looked out the window of my penthouse. The city was glowing. My phone rang. It was my mother, my stepmother. She called about once a week now. Usually to ask if I was coming to Sunday dinner. Usually to ask if I could help out with a bill. I let it ring. I picked up the framed photo on my desk. It was the one from the engagement party. The one the photographer hadn't deleted. In the center of the frame, Caleb was blurry, looking terrified. My stepmother looked shocked. But on the edge of the frame, sharp and clear, was me. Standing tall. Smiling. I wasn't in the center of their family photo. I was standing apart from it. And finally, I realized that was exactly where I belonged. I swiped the phone to decline. The voicemail icon popped up instantly. I didn't listen to it. I pressed delete. Not family, I whispered to the empty room, raising my coffee cup in a toast. Thank God for that.